Hi, my name is Mark from Open Doors. You're listening to Heart Song Live Radio, your voice of inspiration.
I never trade you for nothing. See me as I am, I'm rolling deep. We're intertwined, oh, I fill out your mind. See me as I am, I'm staggering. For your love's a rarity, it's very hard to find. Oh, let me talk, oh, let me tell her. Oh, what you know, oh, let me tell her. For me, la 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 la, for ya. Con le seni, ma seni, califia way. Oh, let me talk, oh, let me tell her. Oh, what you know, oh, let me tell her. Oh, for me, la 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 la, for ya. Con le seni, ma seni, califia way. We're locked in harmony, we're locked in synergy, there's none in between. It's written in the stars for me, written in the sands, my feet. I'm in the ocean state. I'm in the ocean. Ooh, see me as I am. I wanna see your full glory all over me. See me as I am. I wanna feel you closer and closer to me. Oh, let me talk, oh, let me tell her. Oh, you know, oh, let me tell her. Oh, for me, la 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 la, for ya. Con le seni, ma seni, califia way. Oh, let me talk, oh, let me tell her. Oh, you know, oh, let me tell her. Oh, for me, la 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 la, for ya. Con le seni, ma seni, califia way.
You can now listen to Heart Song live on Radio Player. This means you can listen to our station whenever and wherever you are. Listen in your browser or download the Radio Player app. Or just ask Alexa, play Heart Song live on Radio Player. Radio Player, the easy way to listen to radio.
And we're on. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Welcome to Candid Moments with Fortunate. My name is Iyinscreativemind, and I'm your host for today. And we're talking about something very interesting, a very interesting topic that a lot of people shy away from, but is absolutely necessary. It's reality of life, but a lot of people shy away from it. We're talking about something that a lot of us are experiencing, but we're not always saying it out loud. We're too scared to talk about it. We're too scared to, articulate it because we're just, hey, what will people think about me? What will people say? We need to, try not to think so much about what others would say, but what would make us happy. We're talking about growth. We're talking about growth. And when I say we're talking about growth, people will be wondering, we're talking about growth and you're saying I'm afraid to talk about that out loud. But the part of growth that we're talking about today is what actually is the sensitive part of, why people don't want to talk about it. But before I go further, I'll just introduce to us what our verse for today is. And our verse for today is Isaiah 43, verses 18 and 19. And I'm just going to paraphrase. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. And maybe for someone listening tonight, that new thing requires you to release what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. So what happens when we start changing? What happens when we start changing, but the people around us stay the same? What happens when the conversations don't feel the same, the connection feels different, and you can feel yourself outgrowing certain relationships? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Outgrowing people without guilt. It's a normal thing in life. As much as we don't want to talk about it, as much as it's something that's a bit sensitive, we just want to shy away from it. But it's the reality of life. Sometimes we do grow out of certain relationships, and it's okay. I'm here to let us know tonight that it's okay. Tonight's conversation is going to be simple. There's no large, big words. There's no big deal to it. But it won't be easy, because we know that, saying that you've outgrown someone, having to pull away from a relationship that you've probably given hours, days, weeks, months, years to, cannot be easy. We're outgrowing people without guilt. So I'd like to hear from my co-host. I hope she'll be audible enough for those of you online. What do you think of today's topic? What comes to mind when we talk about today's topic?
Do you think I can be?
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure we can hear. I'm not sure she can hear us. But we're going to talk from the beginning. Do you think it's wrong to outgrow people? I'd like, those of us online to engage as much as we can. Do you think it's wrong to outgrow people? What are our thoughts? Do we think it's wrong to outgrow people? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I was just asking what your thoughts were, on today's topic before we go forward.
All right. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. This is your girl, Fortunate Esther Biola. I'm speaking in the background behind the, now she get the microphone. She be my girl. She's showing up very well. Thank you, Iyi, for holding forth. The topic you have raised today, you know what? You know that I've always been a firm believer that if you're growing and you are not true to yourself, you're just faking it.
Absolutely.
And in this one life that we have, that the bus stop, we don't even know where the bus stop is and what the name of the bus stop is. We have to be grateful without apology.
Absolutely.
We must remain unapologetic about choosing to grow, choosing to live, choosing to be the person that we truly are meant to be. I'm quite sure a lot of people will not understand, but the scripture he has, chosen today, I'm passionate about that. And this girl, she's 5 past, she knows how to do it. But one thing I can say about growing and not having any reason to say sorry about your growth is the reality that it is you and you alone.
Absolutely.
Even twins who are born on the same day, their growth is not the same.
Absolutely.
Triplets, quadruplets, whatever it is, their growth will never be the same. Their growth is going to be individual. And whatever needs to be done as an individual needs to be done as that individual. We have wasted so much time trying to please people, trying to get approval from others, trying to make them feel as if we need them to help us to live our life. That is the wrong idea. That is the wrong concept. What we need to do is to make sure that we choose to grow. A tree that is growing is not waiting for the grass around it to supply anything. It is just growing. That is what we need to embrace ourselves. We have to put our roots down and say, I'm going to grow. I'm going to produce the right fruit. I'm going to blossom. I'm going to be, provide shade. My branches, everything about me is going to grow. I beg, the tree, if you plant a tree today or you plant a flower today, it's not going to be apologizing to the other flower around it to say, please give me time to grow. Please
Absolutely.
Give me time to grow. No.
Yes.
So why should we? That's the only thing. I was thinking about writing a long post about it when you sent me the leaflet.
Yes.
But I said, you know what, I'm giving you the chance. So when I saw your post and the tag, I was like, hey. Yeah. That's the thing. You're growing by yourself now. You don't need me to be there.
Absolutely.
To say, grow. When I come back and we are presenting together and having our fun together, it's just going to be because we want to be together.
Yes.
Anytime you have to do it for yourself, by yourself, you're going to grow into the full element of who you are as a presenter. And of that, I am very proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Clack it, clack, clack, clack.
Clack it. Clack it.
Slide. I'm following you.
Yeah.
One thing, I love you. Grow, baby.
Thank you so much.
Apologize to anyone. The same way I've been telling you, this one fortunate life that I'm living, I will keep on growing. I will stay in my lane. I will allow my roots to penetrate deep into the ground and grow as high as I can. So grow big.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That was profound. And one key thing that I'm picking from what Fortunate has just said is that, for example, I mean, this is my third time being in the studio ever. I'm very new at this, but I'm grateful for the growth that I'm beginning to see. What I've learned from what she just said is when you say you're outgrowing people without guilt, outgrowing someone doesn't necessarily have to be negative. For example, I was only with Fortunate once in the studio to learn the ropes. And I mean, maybe we won't call it outgrowing per se, but I've grown to a level where I'm able to do it on my own now. Honestly, if anybody has said this to me a few months ago, I would say it wasn't possible. But then sometimes outgrowing someone doesn't necessarily put you in a bad book with the person or make you guys enemies. It's just a natural phenomenon. It's just growth in general. So someone was asking in the comments what today's topic is, and I'll just repeat it again for the benefit of those who are just joining us. Today's topic is outgrowing people without guilt. We need to learn to understand that outgrowing people is natural, it's normal, and there is no reason to feel guilty for it. So, like I asked earlier, do you think that outgrowing people is wrong? Yes or no? Personally, I don't think it's wrong. You can see from my little story just now that it's not necessarily a bad thing, to outgrow people. Outgrowing people doesn't always mean something bad happened. Literally what I just said. It doesn't mean something bad has happened. It doesn't mean there needs to be enmity or anything. Sometimes it simply means you've changed. Your priorities have changed. Your mindset has changed. I just want that to sink in a little bit. Outgrowing people isn't always a negative thing. It doesn't always mean that something bad has happened. What it could mean is that you've changed. It could mean that you've grown. It means that your priorities have changed, and it also means that your mindset as well has changed. If we look at those three things that I just mentioned, none of those things are bad. Changing from being one person to another is not necessarily a bad thing. Priorities changing is not necessarily a bad thing. For example, you could maybe be moving from being a single person to being married. You could be moving from being a married person, newly married person, to being a parent. Those are things that are changing in your life. And with those things come different priorities as well, which can change. Your mindset could also change. You could have, attended a profound lecture or gone for a conference or something where your mind is opened up to new possibilities, and then your mindset changes about different things that you've thought in a certain way. You now think differently. That's another way, that you can outgrow people because your mindset has changed. Not everyone is meant to grow with you at the same pace. That's another reality and another truth that we need to hold steadfast to. That everyone is not going to grow at the same pace. Everyone is not going to grow at the same time. So outgrowing people is only normal. other people are outgrowing you, if we're being honest with ourselves. So why should you feel guilty for outgrowing others? So we're going to ease into today's topic. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to give us a little music break, and when we're back, we'll delve deeper into the topic.
All my words fall short.
Guys on TikTok.
I got nothing. How could I express all my gratitude? I could sing these songs as I often do, but every song must end, and you never do. So I throw my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart singing I've got one response. I've got just one move. With my arms stretched wide, I will worship you, and I throw up my hands and praise you again and again. 'Cause all that I have is a oh, come on, my soul. Oh, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Come on, my soul. Oh, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again. 'Cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart singing
You are listening to Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heart Song Live Radio.
I don't believe in fairy tales. I guess I've outgrown them. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that there's something bigger than me. 'Cause I've seen it in a hospital room when the doctor said sorry. There's nothing more we can do. well, it wasn't through. I've never seen a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I've got a promise I can hold in the middle of the struggle. God, if you said you'll perform, it may not be how I want you to, but here's what I'll do. I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on you. I've tasted your goodness. I'm trusting your promise. I'm gonna wait on you. Yes, I'm gonna wait on you. I've tasted your goodness. I'm trusting your promise. I'm gonna wait on you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will. I know you order every step. Yeah, you are the author. But there's no predicting what is next. But you hold the future. And all the questions, they come second to the one I know is true, yeah. Well, you've always been true. So I'm gonna wait on you. Yes, I'm gonna wait on you. I'm tasting your goodness. Trusting your promise. I'm gonna wait on you. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna wait on Jesus. I'm tasting your goodness. I'm trusting your promise. I'm gonna wait on you. It's the least I can do. It's wait on you. Wait on you. What else is there to do? It's the least I can do. Let go of my hands. So wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord.
And welcome back, everyone. And I can already see, that people are saying yes. Some are saying yes. Some are saying no. I like this already. So I want us to be real. Many of us were taught that loyalty means staying no matter what. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me that that's what we're typically taught in life is, no matter how hard things get, just stay, just keeping on, just stay there, just endure, and just be there. And maybe sometimes they will say, keep praying, keep, believing that things will change. But that's not always the case. What if staying is actually what's stopping your growth? You've been wondering, it looks like I've been in a rut for a long time. Looks like I've not been moving from where I am. Even though your mindset has changed, like we discussed before, your priorities have changed, but the actual growth is not showing in your life. The actual growth is not happening like you expect it to happen. What if it's because of some of the relationships or some of the attachments that you have to your current season that you've refused to let go of? What if that's what's stopping your growth? I feel like that's something that we need to consider. That's something that we need to think about is why is it that we want to grow, we have the mindset for growth, but somehow the growth is not happening? Let's just consider the fact that it could actually be that staying is what is stopping us from growing. So some people would say outgrowing people, might not be bad. It depends. Some people would say, it depends on whatever. A lot of people will say it depends on this or it depends on that. But what exactly could be the reason that you don't want to let go of a relationship that's definitely staggering your growth or completely stopping it? what makes outgrowing people not okay. Like if anybody has any ideas or any thoughts on why you feel like outgrowing people is not okay, you can drop them in the comments, and we can discuss it, because at the end of the day, this is a discussion. It's not just me coming to say what I want. It's not me wanting to force anything down anybody's throats. I want us to think about it together and come to a good conclusion. I am also hoping to learn from as many people as are here. I want to learn as well. So I have one quote that I just want to give us that would also help us continue to think more about what we're, talking about today. Outgrowing people doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. That is, very self-explanatory. I know we should understand that without me having to explain further, but I will do that. Outgrowing people doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. And if we think about it, when we talk about outgrowing people, when we've come to a place where we understand that our priorities have changed, our mindset has changed, we as individuals have changed. If you see that you've outgrown someone, it's only being honest to yourself if you acknowledge that. You're only being honest to yourself if you acknowledge that. If you refuse to acknowledge it, then you're just not being real with yourself. And you're not being real with whoever it is that, might be on the other end of the growth that you've acquired. You've outgrown that relationship. You've outgrown that person, and it's okay. But what is not okay is to lie to yourself that, everything is fine, everything is okay, it's fine. I mean, I can just manage. That could be stunting your growth. That could be stopping your growth. And with all that we have spoken about in, the past weeks, there's nothing worse than lying to yourself and being in a place where you are supposed to grow, you're supposed to advance, and things are supposed to change in your life, and you're holding on just because you've been brought up or you've learned in life to just stay, just manage, no, how will you look? I feel like I've gotten to such a place in my life where I'm not bothered so much about what others will think. I'm not bothered so much about how things will look. As long as I have peace in my heart, I have the conviction in my heart that what I'm doing is okay. Of course, we're not talking about people who would just want to do evil stuff or just do bad things and get away with it. We're talking about real practical life where, in all honesty, you're growing. And that's what we actually all aspire to in life, is to grow. We want to advance. We want things to become better for us in life. So anything that would be stopping that, we don't want it, or we should not want it. I feel like sometimes we say we don't want something, but we don't make any moves or we don't do anything to change the situation on ground. But like I said, outgrowing people doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. I have a comment from someone here who says, it is not bad to outgrow friendships, but it has to be done with maturity. Fantastic. I like the fact that this person has acknowledged that it's not bad, and has also acknowledged the fact that the way by which, you sever some relationships or you tone down on some relationships has to be done with maturity. We can't, burn bridges, or, we don't want it to become negative, because we've established that it's not necessarily a negative thing. However, the way we go about, severing the relationships or toning down on those relationships can make the difference. And I'm really, really, pleased with that comment. Is we have to do with maturity. There's no other way to look at it. you don't go to someone, for example, and say, oh, well, I'm no longer on your level, so I can't talk to you anymore. Like, all of those things are not necessary. If you go and do something like that or talk like that, it begs the question on whether you're actually growing or not. Because with growth should come maturity. It's really important. With growth should come maturity. We should not be oblivious to the point where we're causing unnecessary pain to people who don't deserve it. You can actually, with maturity, deal, with the situation, find a way around it to ensure that the person is not pulling you down and stopping your growth, but you're also not leaving someone worse off, all because you feel that you've outgrown them. I would just want us to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about why this actually feels so hard, because we must acknowledge that it can be hard to sever relationships. It can be hard to stop or to end a relationship that has gone on for months, for years. It can be really hard. So we're going to talk about why it feels hard, and then we would be able to unpack and determine how we can actually go about this without, totally wrecking things or totally, messing things up. So.
While I'm waiting, I'll be praising. While I'm waiting, I'll be praising. While I'm waiting, I'll be praising. Oh, it's about what you do when you wait. Why complain when you can pray? It's not about just waiting. It's about what you do when you're waiting. So instead of complaining, why don't we just start praising in the middle of the storm? In the middle of the storm, While I'm waiting, I'll be praising. There was a time I truly believed that I could do it on my own. But all that I found at the end of that road is that concept for me was all wrong. But I found a Savior who turned me around when He placed His love on me. And I will trust Him. I will not cling to my own.
trust in the name of the Lord, for I know
You can now listen to Heart Song live on Radio Player. Listen in your browser or download the Radio Player app. Radio Player, the easy way to listen to radio.
Hello everyone. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Candid Moment with Fortunate, and I am the host for today, Iyinscreativemind, and we're just talking about a very simple but kind of heart-tugging topic today, which is outgrowing people without guilt. We've established earlier that outgrowing people is normal, and it's normal for several reasons. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's because more often than not, we've changed, or our priorities have changed, or our mindsets have changed. Those are different reasons why we might be outgrowing some friends, some relationships, some groups, if you finished secondary school, you wouldn't go back and enroll in a secondary school, you would move on to university. So that's just, outgrowing people is just because of growth, and it's a natural thing in life. And we're trying to see how we can help people who have outgrown certain people but are finding it really difficult to let go for several reasons. And we're talking now about the reason that this is hard, why it feels so hard to actually let go of certain people and relationships. It's not just about the growth, of course, it's because of the history. History can be very, very, it can be a stronghold, if I may put it that way. It can hold us, back because of history, because you've laughed with these people, you struggled with them, you've built memories with them, and, it's just hard to let go of all those memories, to let go of all of that build-up. I mean, you probably had years with this person where, you struggled together. You both were at some point where things weren't the best, they weren't easy, and you struggled together and you were able to make something of yourselves. That was growth, and that was good, because at that point you probably were able to grow together. And then you probably now get to a point where you're beginning to grow a little more than where you both are. And then, this is where it's now difficult. This is why it's now hard to let go, because of the memories, because of the struggles, because of the happy times, that you've had together. Those are the reasons why, it can be very difficult for us to move forward, leaving these people behind, so to say. And I just have a few questions for some of our audience that are on TikTok right now, because I've got my TikTok fam also watching. I want us to be honest. Have we ever stayed in a friendship or relationship longer than we should have just because of history? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Have you ever stayed in a relationship or friendship longer than you should have just because of history? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Yeah, Titi says yes. Personally, I would say yes. I have my own stories. I'm probably not going to be able to share a lot of that today, but I definitely have my story of staying longer, in a relationship or in a friendship, longer than I should have, knowing that I had outgrown that relationship, but somehow I kept back. Yeah. Someone is saying here that in 2026, we need to drop people like a bad habit. It's funny, but it's true. We need to drop people like a bad habit if we know that we've outgrown them and they are stopping our growth. Okay. So Titi here is saying that she valued loyalty, and that's why she stayed longer in I think, either a friendship or a relationship longer than she should have because of the value of loyalty. And that's very true. Absolutely true. Loyalty is a very good trait to have. Loyalty is a strong character trait that we should all have. However, there is still a limit. We can't, out of loyalty, also stop growing. There needs to be a balance, and that's why we're here today. That's why we're trying to unpack this, so that at the end of today, we're able to understand what the limits are, understand what the boundaries are, understand what, where to draw the line on loyalty even as well. Because if your growth is being stopped because you're trying to be loyal to someone, we need to evaluate what exactly it is that is our motive. Loyalty should not stop your growth. Loyalty should not be the reason that you won't move forward. So we're going to talk about that. Sometimes we don't hold on to people because they're good for us. We hold on to them because they're familiar. And I'm going to take your comments in a minute. Honestly, that statement is so true. Comfort zone is how I would just, encompass the whole thing. You know how difficult it is to leave your comfort zone. It is so hard. No matter how toxic the comfort zone is, no matter how stressful it is, no matter how much it's taking a toll on your mental health, no matter how much it's stopping your growth, because it's called a comfort zone for a reason. Comfort zone, we've kind of believed the illusion that comfort zone is something nice, or is, what's it called now, is a place that you enjoy. No, not exactly. It's a comfort zone because it's familiar. It's just become our normal. You're now like literally on autopilot. You don't need to do anything extra to be in that zone. So it's already what you're used to. So sometimes we hold on to people not because they are good for us. Sometimes they're not. But because it's just so familiar and so you're used to it. And, people fear change a lot. This saying of the devil is better than the angel you don't know. That's the case in this kind of scenario where you're thinking, well, I'm used to this anyway. I've been coping anyway. We've been doing this for a long time anyway, and you're just used to it. And that's actually the reason, that that's the reason that people stay, is because of familiarity, rather than knowing, oh, this person is really good for me, or this person would, still adding value to my life. Because we must understand that adding value, it's not something that happens in perpetual. No. Someone can be in your life for a reason and for a season. They add value for that season, and at the end of the season, it's goodbye. You meet others who would continue to add value as you add value to others as well. Familiar doesn't always mean healthy. So I just said that sometimes we hold on to people not because they're good for us, but because of familiarity, because it's just familiar. It's what we've grown to know, it's what we've grown to be comfortable with. Growth isn't always comfortable. So we must bear that in mind. And familiar is not always healthy. Someone said here that even if it's your husband, march to courts and divorce ASAP. There's a lot of anxiety when it comes to topics like this. And that's not necessarily, what today's topic is about. It's not only about romantic relationships. It's about friendships as well. It's about, associations that we've become a part of. It's about like our relationships in general in life. For divorce, it's a bit of, a touchy subject, but the one thing that I know that remains true and holds true for me is if there is abuse involved, I definitely don't want any woman staying where there's abuse, because it's only someone who is alive that can survive, whatever season they may be in their marriage. So on divorce, that's what I would say. And I'm not even necessarily saying divorce. Leaving a situation or leaving an environment where your life is endangered is always the right choice. And that's what I would say on that topic. And Titi says, but I have learned my lessons because loyalty must not be one-sided. Absolutely. Like I said, we can't, because of loyalty, remain in a friendship or in a relationship, and the loyalty is actually not even reciprocated. It doesn't, there's no point. And that's why, even though we're going to do it with maturity and make sure that we're not burning bridges unnecessarily, you can't remain loyal to someone who isn't loyal to you. It just does not make any sense, to stay in a friendship just because, I know that loyalty is important to me. But that person isn't loyal. We know that friendships aren't always about what you can get from the other person, but then friendship is a two-way thing. You can't be in a friendship with yourself, and a lot of people are in friendships with themselves. A lot of people are in relationships with themselves, and we just have to come to that realization to ensure that we're not doing things just solely because, number one, it's our comfort zone, number two, because, what will people say? If I go now, maybe I will not even see any other friend. We need to prioritize ourselves. This self-love thing and this, this picking yourself first. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself. A lot of people, I was having a conversation with a friend a few days ago, and we were talking about this concept of love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself. A lot of people are loving themselves as their neighbors because they're putting their neighbors first. A lot of people are loving their neighbors more than themselves. Again, putting their neighbors first. Some people are loving themselves more than they love their neighbors. What the Bible says and what is expected of us is to love our neighbors as ourselves. Now, first thing is, how do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? If you don't love yourself, you have no business loving anybody else. It's a hard truth, but it's the truth. If you don't love yourself, you have no business loving anybody else. Until you learn to love yourself, then you can love others as you love yourself. Peace and love. So, so that's what we've been able to establish today is outgrowing people. It's normal. It's almost inevitable. It's not likely that anybody will go through life without getting to a point where they would outgrow someone or the other, a relationship, a friendship. It's normal, and there is no need for guilt. That's the crux of our discussion today is, imagine someone who, gave us AMs that said a comment here who said she valued loyalty, and that's why she stayed back and stayed longer in a relationship or in a friendship that she was supposed to have left. But the other person wasn't even loyal. So what exactly are we even talking about here? If the person is not loyal to you and you are, because of loyalty, staying there and you're hindering your growth, in the end, nobody is winning. You will find that person will grow and leave you that you think, because I don't want him to feel like maybe, because I've attained some height or attained some level, that's why I'm now leaving them. If they grew tomorrow, would they leave you? They would even leave you without a shot. Like, they will not even, they won't even think twice. And yes, we know that shouldn't be the reason why, you be evaluating, okay, if this person grows tomorrow, would they leave me? Okay, if they will leave me, that means, but to be honest, if we're being honest with ourselves, if they leave you, they're doing the right thing. You should not even really fault people for that, because they're doing the right thing. That's what we're talking about today, that outgrowing people is normal. So if you have someone who has outgrown, because I don't want us to also look at this from just one side of the coin. You could outgrow people. People could outgrow you as well. So how do we even deal with, because yes, we're saying don't be guilty when you outgrow others, but there's also the flip side of feeling dejected or feeling left behind when someone outgrows you. We also need to understand that as we're talking about outgrowing people without guilt, there is a flip side to it. So as we learn today that we shouldn't feel guilty for outgrowing others, let us also remember that we're not on the same level with everyone in life. So some people might outgrow us as well. And this does not actually mean enmity or animosity. It doesn't mean that because you've outgrown someone, you would never speak to them again or you would never have any cause to interact with them again. That's not what it is. But the time and attention, the what's it called now? The devotion, the amount of time that you spend and invest in that relationship might have to change. You might have been given, for the sake of this example, a 1 hour to this relationship every day, for example. It might be 5 minutes, just a quick check-in, sign of life, check that everything is okay, and you don't actually have the 1 hour to put to it anymore. This goes for so many things in life. There's so many ideas that are coming to my head right now. I might not be able to give all of the examples, but there's an example that just came to my head as I was speaking, which is, this isn't even about maybe relationships, physical relationships or friendships now. You could be in a group, for example. I've been in several different groups, several, say WhatsApp groups, for example, and that group is serving you for a season. Say maybe a group that's maybe for, I don't know, how to maybe raise children, maybe something like that, and you then get to a point where you go in because you really need the help at the time. You really need what that group offers you. But can you be in the group forever when you've gotten an answer to the issues that you had? Or, perfect example, you're in a weight loss group, for example, where you get tips, you get encouragement, you get that community that's gingering you on a day-to-day basis. And then you've lost all of that weight, you've gotten to a maintenance stage. Do you remain in that group? When we begin to see friendships and relationships like that, where if something has served its purpose, it's okay to let go. It's just like the organizer of the group now being upset that, people are leaving, but they've lost the weight. They've gotten to the maintenance points. They understand what you've taught them now. They need to go. So we need to begin to, think about it in that light, and it will help us release whatever guilt we might be feeling, or also feel less agitated or feel less, it will make us not feel less of ourselves when people outgrow us as well. So we started this important discussion tonight. Hi, Intelligence. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, Nadia. God bless you. Thank you. So, we're going to go a bit deeper in the next hour, but we're going to, take a short music break. We're going to be talking about how we let go without feeling guilty. What is the practical way that we can actually let go without feeling guilty? But we'll be going now on a quick music break, and I'll be right back.
Such freedom I have found you. You're a healer who makes all things new. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not going back, I'm moving ahead. Here to declare to you, the past is over. You, things are made new. Surrendered my life to Christ, moving to the king. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering. Take me to the king. Truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused. I can't fake what's left to do.
Come on.
Truth is, I'm weak, no strength to fight, no tears to cry, even if I tried. But still my soul refuses to die. One touch will change my life. Take me to the king. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering. Lay me at the throne. Leave me there alone to gaze upon your glory and sing to you this song. Please take me to the king. Truth is, it's time to stop playing these games. We need a word for the people's pain. So Lord, speak right now. Let it pour like rain. Oh yeah, we're desperate. We're chasing after you. Oh, I know.
Welcome back. This is Candid Moments with Fortunate, and I am your host, Iyinscreativemind, and we're streaming live on Heart Song Live Radio. And tonight, we've been talking about outgrowing people without guilt. If you're just joining us, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts about outgrowing people in general? And then why do you think we would say we should do it without guilt? Because majority of people believe that outgrowing people is wrong and that they're doing something wrong. And more often than not, they feel guilty for it. So we're just talking about how to outgrow people without guilt, because we've established that outgrowing people is not wrong. It's not negative. It just means that a person has changed, a person's mindset has changed, or a person's interests and priorities have changed. We want to be honest. Growth is beautiful. That's literally why the world continues to be interesting for us, is that growth happens. If we were born babies and died babies, this world wouldn't be what it is today. This world wouldn't even be like this. We wouldn't be having this conversation today. So growth is beautiful. Growth is part of life. Growth is normal. But it can also be uncomfortable. Typical example, little babies, when they begin to grow teeth, we see how much discomfort they're in. Some of them fall ill. A lot happens, when ladies who hit puberty. We definitely see in other facets of life how growth can be uncomfortable and can be painful sometimes, as beautiful as it is. So I want us to talk about the guilt. What is the reason that we feel bad for choosing ourselves? what is the real reason that we feel bad for choosing ourselves? If you have any thoughts, I'd love to see them in the comments. But what is the real reason that we feel bad for choosing ourselves? Is it because sometimes, if we're being honest, some of these things are, I don't want to use the wrong word, but the word that's coming to my head is like feeling self-righteous, like, I don't want people to see me rather as being selfish. I don't want people to see me as that lady, she doesn't even think about others, she only thinks about herself. As much as not thinking about others is bad, thinking about yourself is not a bad thing. So what is the real reason that we feel bad? What is the real reason that we feel bad for choosing ourselves? Is it because we're just overly kind, or because of what people will say? Or what exactly is it that is the reason that people feel bad for choosing themselves? If you have any thoughts, like I said, I'd be happy to, read them out, and we could, learn from each other. What is the main reason that we feel bad for choosing ourselves? For me, I feel like it's so that we won't be labeled. I'm thinking in my own life, times when I felt like, if I choose myself, it makes me feel bad. I think it's just, that there's this feeling in your mind of what would people say? Because at the end of the day, rather, when we feel bad about things, more often than not, it's because of what others would say and how others will perceive it. It's more that than because you really, feel bad like that. I think it's more about what people would say, how the world will see it. And if we're being honest with ourselves, when we analyze it like that, what do we think? Do we think it makes sense to actually think about what people would say, and that would be the reason that you're feeling bad for choosing yourself? Is that really a good reason to feel bad for choosing yourself? Is because of what others would say? I would say no. That's not a good reason. We need to get to a point where we realize that choosing ourselves is normal and it's allowed. Of course, not in every single case, because like I established earlier, I mentioned a part of the Bible that says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you're going to love your neighbor, sometimes you won't choose yourself. You would inconvenience yourself a little, because you know how for you, in that circumstance that your neighbor is in, how important it would be to you if someone helped you in that situation. Then you would help your neighbor, or do something for them that would help relieve their situation, maybe while losing sleep, or that's you realizing that in that situation, what would you want someone else to do for you to help ease the situation, and then doing it for others. So there's no need to feel bad for choosing yourself, because when you choose yourself, you're learning how you're going to help others anyway in the end. And then sometimes I think some people would say that growth feels like betrayal. And if you remember the illustration that I gave a few moments back of, maybe you've been friends with someone for a while, there have been struggles, there have been what's it called now? There have been struggles, you've gone through a lot together, you've, laughed together when, things were joyful and all of that. And then you find an opportunity for growth. And then you feel like you're betraying the other person. It's not necessarily betrayal, because in the end, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is individual. No matter how close you are with someone, no matter how close you are to someone, your journey and that person's journey is not the same. Even a married couple who have that common goal and vision, and they have a common, what's it called? They have a common we'll say goal and vision, right? Their journeys as individuals are still not the same. That's why we see, in some cases where they say, oh, a wife is earning more than the husband and it's a problem, or, a man is earning so much more and he's, enslaving, in quotes, his wife. That's because, like we've said, people's journeys are different. Growth is different for each individual, regardless of our circumstances. So growth sometimes can feel like betrayal, but it's not necessarily betrayal. I know I have a question. Have we ever felt guilty for distancing ourselves from someone? I'd really love to see your answers. Have you ever felt guilty about distancing yourself from someone? I have. And that guilt, even though we're trying to get to a point today where we begin to realize that we really don't need to feel guilty, sometimes it's a normal feeling. We just need to work on it. I was listening to an Instagram video today by one of my friends, and she was talking about how sometimes there are emotions that we go through that we have no business going through those emotions. And they're normal. It can be fear, it can be guilt, it can be concern, it can be this. But the best thing is to give those feelings to God, who is the burden bearer. Because guilt can be a huge burden on us and can hinder our growth. And we don't want that. It's a natural human feeling. It's a natural human response to things that happen. But then it's not a healthy feeling. We can acknowledge that. And it's not a feeling that we want to be having because we don't want to stop our growth. So feeling guilty about distancing yourself from someone, as long as you examine your heart and you see that you're doing it from a place of, I've outgrown this relationship, I need to step aside or step back a little bit, we should not be feeling guilty. Sometimes we confuse growth with disloyalty. And we spoke about it a while back when Titi mentioned that she was staying back in a particular relationship for loyalty's sake. And we get tempted sometimes to believe that if you grow past a certain stage, you're being disloyal to maybe a friend or someone you're in a relationship with. But that's not the case. Growth is not disloyalty. Growth is, like we've established, is a normal thing in life. Growth will happen. Sometimes, whether you like it or not, growth will happen. So it doesn't mean that you're no longer loyal. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you've grown. It just means that priorities have changed or are changing. And we need to get to terms with that. We need to just agree with it. We need to agree with it. We need to ease into the growth, because it doesn't mean that you're disloyal. It just means that growth is happening. It just means that things are changing, you are changing, and it's a good thing. You can love people and still outgrow the version of yourself that fits into their life. I'm not sure if that makes sense to anybody. You can love people and still outgrow the version of yourself that fits into their life. Those two things can, they can happen. It doesn't mean you love them any less. It doesn't mean you no longer care for them. All that has happened is that you've outgrown the version of yourself that fits into their life. And that's okay. I can't overemphasize how okay it is. Because we evolve, we grow every day. The you of yesterday is not the you of today, whether we like it or not, whether it's visible in our physical appearance or not. It's the truth that the you yesterday is not the same you as today, especially if you're someone who is taking steps to improve yourself daily. You're reading books, you're listening to podcasts, you're, expanding your mind, you're taking courses, you're doing things to grow. I mean, we don't do those things just because we want to do them just for doing sake. We do them because we're trying to enhance our minds. We're trying to advance. We're trying to change something about our current situations or our positions. We want to be better at what we do. We want to, we want to outgrow, the level that we currently are in. So you cannot do all of those things and the growth comes and then you begin to feel guilty about whoever it is you may be leaving behind. This does not negate the fact that maybe sometimes we could try, to bring whoever is around us along on the journey of, advancement and enhancement. We can. But as we know, it's still left to the person to decide whether or not they would go on this journey with us. And even if they do decide to go on the journey, with us, our growth might not be at the same pace. And it's normal. So we need to understand that the version of ourselves today might be outgrown, and it was that version that fit into that person's life. It's literally like the example that they always give of having a triangular peg hole and trying to squeeze a circle into it. It just does not work. It cannot work. Even if it does, you're either going to break the mold, something will give if you force it. So we just need to understand that our love for people is not negated when we outgrow the version of ourselves or ourselves that fit into their lives. We just need to understand that, and I think that will just make it that bit easier to understand why there is no need to feel guilty. If you change, if your priorities change, if your mindset changes, you may no longer fit into the life of people that you love, people that you care about, and that's okay. So how do we do this letting go and this distancing ourselves, for lack of a better word, in a healthy way? We're going to do it not with anger. We're not going to do it with pride, which we've established when, Titi was talking about maturity. We have to do it with maturity, but with peace. Not with anger, because first off, what is there really to be angry about? I understand that some relationships might be toxic and you might be needing to leave those relationships, or you've outgrown those relationships due to the toxicity, and you've just come to a realization, your mindset has changed, and you realize that this relationship is no longer doing it for me. This friendship is no longer working for me, is no longer serving the purpose that it should serve. And I feel like I need to backtrack a little bit and let us understand that friendships and relationships have purposes that they serve in our lives. If you have a friend that you can't define the purpose of your relationship, it might be worth, considering what exactly, evaluating the reason. And now let me make it clear that I'm not talking about acquaintances or people you just meet and you just have their contact. I'm talking about friendship, like something deeper than just the surface of hi or hello. When you talk about someone being your friend or someone that you're in a relationship with, it might be worth considering and evaluating what that relationship or friendship, what purpose it serves in your life. Until we're intentional like that, we would not be able to shrug off and brush off, unnecessary weights, dead weights that we carry in the name of friendship and relationship. So So I understand that sometimes, like I was saying, toxicity might be the reason that you need to excuse yourself from a friendship or relationship. But there's really no need to do it with anger. Of course, whatever the person might have been doing might have angered us. It might have made us feel bad. It might have made us, upset. But there is no need to, do this letting go with anger. First off, it would show that the growth that we claim to be, experiencing is really happening. Because when you have grown past a certain level, you just realize that there's no need to be angry about certain things. I'm someone who, a lot of my friends are like, oh, can you ever get angry? Do you ever get angry? Of course I do, because I'm human. But I feel like my personality, and this isn't even about me consciously doing anything, but my personality is such that I have this ability, I would say, to give everybody grace and to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So rather than get angry, I hardly get to the point where I get angry, because I've already used grace to cover all of my friends and all of my relationships. I cover them with grace so that when anything happens, I'm taking from that bank of grace, and it would not allow anger or any such thing to, be my first response to anything that happens. So let's try today to understand that letting go does not have to be with anger. We don't have to do it with anger. We don't have to do it with pride, but with peace. Let's understand that we can create distance without drama. In this social media world, though, I know it's quite difficult. Even if you don't want to bring drama, especially if you're in the limelight, or if you're popular, you're a celebrity, you're an influencer, it might be tough, because of course, we have people in influencing and celebrities who we know as friends. I have several examples that I can give of people who are friends that everyone knows that they're friends. If you mention for example, I'll just give this example. In the Nigerian context, I'm from Nigeria, and I know a little bit about like the celebrity lifestyle in Nigeria. There's these two people who were really good friends, but to the media's eye, they thought there was more than that to them until the lady got married. But I'm using that as an example to say, if those two were to have, some sort of rift today, social media might even be the ones to want to turn it to drama. They might not, how people will misconstrue anything he says or does they will say it's because of the lady. If the lady says anything, they'll say she's talking to the guy. And that happens a lot. But we need to try to ensure that social media and, this technological world does not help us turn, creating distance into drama. It's very possible to create distance without drama. Also, we can love people from afar. This one is something that I feel is so profound. And when I came to that realization, it has really helped me in a lot of my relationships and my friendships. I can almost categorically say that people that I'm no longer like friends with, like as closely as maybe we used to be in the past, there's no enmity, there's no animosity. I genuinely still love them, but it's from afar. When we see, we talk like we've not seen in ages. When we see, we relate like, or rather, we talk like we've been in contact for ages. And when we actually come in contact with each other, you can tell that these people are friends. And people will be wondering, oh, you know her, but we might not see each other on a day-to-day basis. We might not need to interact on a day-to-day basis, but there's no need for animosity. I still love them. They hopefully still love me, and we can do that from afar. It doesn't have to be in each other's faces. And then sometimes we need to choose peace without explanation. There are some people in our lives that we know that if we were to broach this topic with them to say, I think, I've outgrown this friendship, or I feel like we may need to have a little bit of like reduce contact, or we know all hell will break loose. And sometimes people would still go ahead and have those conversations with people like that. Personally, I'm the kind of person who, if they came to me and said, I think we're going to need to kind of cut off connection for a while, maybe not talk to each other as much, I would understand, but I can't expect everybody to be like me. And I do understand the kind of people that I am friends with. And it's on a case-by-case basis is what I'm actually trying to say. When we're considering this letting go, you must consider the personality and the kind of person that person is. And if just choosing peace and going away without an explanation is going to be the most peaceful way, then you can go for it. It's an option as well. It's something that you can explore. It doesn't always have to be sit down one-to-one, discuss it. For someone who would take it without any issues, why not? But for someone who will turn it into drama, absolutely, please choose peace without explanation. Even in life, seasons change. That goes without saying. I live in Scotland where sometimes we have 4 seasons in a day. But, typically, literally on Sunday, we had our time change, to British summertime because summer is coming. In life, we have seasons. In the part of the world where I am, 4 different seasons with very distinct characteristics. There's nothing we can do about it. You can try to wear your winter jacket all year if you so please, but I can assure you that in spring/summer months, you're going to be sweltering, you're going to be melting. So if we make changes in our lives based on the seasons, it should be okay in our relationships and in our friendships to make, similar changes. Letting go is not rejection. It's redirection. I think we should consider that letting go is not rejection. It's redirection. When you let go of certain friendships and relationships, you're not rejecting them. And that's why we said it's possible to love from afar. All you're doing is redirecting your steps. I read a quote somewhere today. I can't remember the exact words, but it was talking about you moving without the end goal or your destination in mind is pointless. So if you're growing and you know that your course has changed, because our courses do change in the course of our lives, our courses change, you know that you're no longer headed in this direction. You know that you're headed in a different direction and you keep going there. How does that make any sense? To the outside world, it looks like movement, it looks like advancement, but it really isn't. So you're redirecting, you're not rejecting. If we put it that way, and if we think about it that way, we will understand that it is not rejection, it's redirection. I'm going to go on a short musical break again. And then when we come back, we're going to reflect on everything that, we've heard today. And hopefully we've taken something useful from this that we can implement in our lives. I'm also learning, even as I'm saying it, I'm seeing places where I've not really met up to par with what I am, asking us to practice and try and do in our own situations and in our life. And we're going to be reflecting a little bit when we get back from the musical break. Please stay tuned.
You are listening to Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio.
He's not done with me. Yeah. He's not done with me. Yeah. Hey! There's so much more to this story. Hey! You're not done with me. Yeah. You're not done with me. Yeah. You're not done with me. Don't stop believing right now. Don't quit believing right now. God is more than able. Moving mountains, still can do it. Moving mountains tonight. Just 'cause I haven't seen it in my lifetime, that doesn't mean he can't do it. Who am I to deny what the Lord? Just 'cause it's not on my resume, or just 'cause I don't have it, doesn't mean he can't do it. Oh, who am I to deny? He can still do miracles with nothing. All it takes is nothing. All it takes is nothing. He can do a miracle. Who am I to deny what the You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you
to Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio. On air, on DAB, online, on your smart speaker, on your phone. This is Heartsong Live.
And we're back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we've got just 15 minutes till the end of the show. This is Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio, and I'm your host for today, Iyinscreativemind. We've been talking about outgrowing people without guilt. That's what the topic has been today, and it's been interactive, it's been fun. We've heard from loads of people. We've, heard of people, saying how they've remained in relationships longer than they should have, just because they felt they needed to be loyal, only to find out that the other person wasn't even being loyal to them. We've had others, ask questions like, can we outgrow family? And my answer to that was a definite yes, because we've established over the course of the show that outgrowing people is normal, and it doesn't have to be in a negative way. It doesn't have to be. It can be void of drama. It can be void of a lot of force. However, it's also possible to love people from afar. You can love someone and still distance yourself from them. You can choose peace instead of confrontation when it comes to some situations. And for family, like Precious asked, it is actually possible, and it is normal, and it is something that you could resort to if all else has failed, is to choose to love someone from afar. Like we said before, outgrowing someone is not rejecting them. You're redirecting because you're growing in life. Your path has changed. Your destination has changed. Your mindset and everything has changed. And therefore, you can no longer continue towing that path. You've outgrown the version of yourself that fits into that person's life. So why not just move quietly away, distance yourself a little bit, still loving them from afar. Like I said, I have loads of people who I was very close with at some point in my life and in some seasons in my life who I no longer particularly relate with as much. But if we were to see each other today, you would think that we spoke every day, because the love is still there. We still do love each other, but our seasons no longer match, our journeys no longer match, we're no longer headed in the same direction, for example, and it's not always a bad thing. So you can actually distance yourself. In the case of family members who are probably toxic, which is maybe where the person who asked that question is coming from, yes, you may not have the opportunity to maybe see them in the future and still have conversations with them, but it's absolutely okay and normal to love them from afar. It's absolutely okay, because choosing your peace of mind, choosing yourself is not a bad thing. It's not something that you should shy away from. It's not something you should feel bad about, because like we were talking about earlier, you need to love others as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you have no business loving others. If you don't love yourself, you're not able to properly love others. So you need to focus on yourself and understand yourself and learn to love yourself before you can then pour out of that love into others. So that's what we've been talking about so far today, is how to outgrow people without it necessarily, turning into a toxic thing, not necessarily, becoming drama. We established that social media has done so much harm to relationships, to, how we see the world in general. And I was talking off air to my audience on TikTok, and we're talking about how, social media has just done so much harm. And conversations like this are really necessary so that people begin to see life in a different perspective and begin to understand how to live their lives better for their sanity, and not depending on social media or being affected by social media. I was explaining to them that I've got this fan base that I'm a part of online for some really good dancers. I talked about that 2 weeks ago when, I was being introduced. And I happen to love these people very much. I love what they do. I respect them. I enjoy their craft. And because of that and how loud I am about my love for them, I get the most horrible DMs from people. I can't obviously begin to say exactly what they've said in those DMs. But I then imagine that if I'm just a fan who just happens to be loud about my love, I'm getting those kind of messages. How much more these celebrities and the magnitude and the audacity that people would have to go into, their messages and begin to say all sorts of things. And they have been so gracious and so graceful in their handling of it. And that's part of why, I admire them so much. And so choosing yourself, they've chosen themselves. They've decided that none of those things are going to get to them. And that's the only way that they can move forward and continue to get better at their craft and focus on what is actually important to them. So yes, we could have family members, we could have close friends who we no longer serve purposes in their lives. They no longer serve a purpose in our lives. And it's okay to love them from afar. It's very okay to love them from afar. Peace of mind is number one. That's what Arika is saying here. Someone says here that I always run away from toxic family members because my peace of mind is always the first priority. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes, and most times, if we're being honest, these things come from family themselves. It doesn't even come from strangers or people that you just met along the way. Yes, there's that happens. But more often than not, you find that it's the closest people to you, the people that you love so much with all of your heart, that bring the toxicity that you're running away from the outside world. And like I said, it's okay to love them from afar. I'm not saying hate your family. I'm not saying hate the people around you. You would still love them because we're called to love everyone. However, that can be done from afar. Love does not always have to be in your face or in their faces or in the same space. You can love from afar. Someone says she can't count the number of accounts she's blocked on TikTok because my sanity is number one. Her sanity is number one. Her peace of mind is number one. And the earlier we learn that that's the case, the better for us. The better for us because, our sanity is the first priority. You can't keep walking around with so much turmoil in your mind only because you want to please other people or please the world. No, it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. So let's begin to choose ourselves. Let's begin to choose ourselves. I hope that, with everything that we've spoken about today, someone somewhere, somehow has learned something and will begin to implement these things just so that we have better lives and we no longer carry guilt that is unnecessary. Outgrowing people is normal. There is no need to carry guilt. I want us to just reflect for a moment if there's anyone in our lives that we've outgrown, but we're still holding on to out of guilt. Because we've said all of this, we've been talking for almost 2 hours now, and we know deep down, there might be people who we're still hanging on to. You don't actually have to explain, but if it's you, you could just drop a heart in the comments. Just drop a heart in the comments because we might still have that. So think, reflect, could there be someone who you're holding on to out of guilt? A relationship you should have severed, a friendship you should have walked away from and just love them from afar that you're still holding on to. Think about it for a moment and drop a heart. Alexa says, I will never sugarcoat anything so as to keep anyone close. Just tell me my wrong and I will do the same. Amazing. When we get to a point where we can actually just tell people what we think or how they've hurt us or what they've done that we don't like and be willing to actually receive the same, because that's another thing. You might not be willing to receive the same. You might be the one who is able to easily dish out, people's issues to them and say, oh, you hurt me, you did this, you did that. But we need to ensure that we're actually also receptive of such information when we get it. Thank you so much, sis. New Day Lady, thank you very much. So yes, there's no need to sugarcoat anything. But again, let's be mindful. Remember I mentioned earlier that if there are people that we know that if we speak to them about this thing, or if we try to confront them, no matter how kind we try to be, they will still not understand, or they would make drama or make a scene out of it. Let's take a bow respectfully, peacefully, distance ourselves, and continue to love them from afar. The confrontation, is not necessary if it's going to cause drama and cause unnecessary rifts or bad blood. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes what growth looks like is distance. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like letting go. So we are allowed to grow, even if it means that we're growing away from people. Let me say that again.
When everything was
sometimes growth looks like distance. Sometimes it looks like silence. And sometimes it looks like letting go. We are allowed to grow, even if it means growing away from people. When we think about a tree and how, the branches and everything grow, they don't always grow in the same direction. It's still growth. So we can grow away from people, and that's completely normal. It's allowed. It's not a bad thing. Let's learn that we can distance ourselves. We can silence ourselves. Just don't say anything. No matter how much you're itching to say something, don't. And ultimately, you can let go of that friendship. You can let go of that relationship and love from afar. I know sometimes these things are easier said than done, but one step at a time, one baby step after another, and eventually we'll get there. One step at a time, guys. I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you. One step at a time, and we'll get there eventually. This growth will happen for us. We will grow, and we will grow peacefully, grow silently, and the sky will only be the starting point of where we can get to. This has been Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio. And I was your host today, Iyinscreativemind. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Thank you guys, my TikTok family. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Good night, everyone, and protect your peace. I'm going to be playing the new song by Nija, who's one of my favorite gospel artists. Enjoy, guys.
Giving me reason why I need to celebrate. When my bag on the hood of my case, I know go fit to fail. Whatever come my way, I know say God did it. From my head to my toe, my heart and my soul, I regress and go overload. No matter where I go, you watch over my soul. Confident I am not alone. Oh,